No big deal. So you should be able to see my screen. This is Connect and Sell. This is my demo view.
Yep.
Yeah, you can
I
see
see a
that.
license agreement there.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you click through that. So just for the quick review of how it works, right? You hit a go button. We start dialing 5 people at a time until we get somebody on the phone. So there's 5 different dial threads going on simultaneously, right? The magic of Connect and Sell is there's a person on every call that we make. There's a Connect and Sell agent. Now, that person isn't actually making the calls. They are assigned to the calls, right? So not only do we make 5 calls at a time, but we make them 5 to 10 times faster than you do, right? Because we're not actually dialing. That's a computer who's doing all of that piece. So we're dialing. We get through to the person you're looking for. Let's say his name is Bob Rollinson. Bob gets on the phone. Hello, this is Bob. You don't hear that, all right? Our agent does. They identify, hey, that's the guy you're looking for. There's going to be a lot of gatekeepers involved, being who you're calling. So that script, because we'll never talk to Bob, right? We'll never talk to your intended target and then transfer the call, because it doesn't make sense, right? The idea is that we're kind of a ghost, right? So the only people we will talk to are, the general person who answers the phone at the business or Bob's gatekeeper. So it's important for you to understand that side of things. So Bob's administrative assistant or gatekeeper answers. They're going to say, hi, Bob Rollinson's office. How can I help you? We will engage that person and say, hi, could you, connect me to Bob? They, of course, say no, because that's their job. What can I ask who's calling? And we'll say, sure. My name is Matt. Hold on one second. This isn't loading. Why are you not loading? Hold on. All right, sorry. So our agent, hi, this is Matt. I'm an assistant to Jason at Improve. He wanted me to get Bob on the phone and then transfer the call. Could you please connect us? And by going through this very short, tight script, we make you seem extremely important because you're actually paying someone to make your calls, right? And although it's true, you technically are, it's usually not in the way that that gatekeeper thinks is the deal, right? So we're going to go, they're going to say, sure, I'll pass you through. Bob answers the phone. Hi, this is Bob. You're on the phone with Bob, right? If they push back and they say, can I ask, what is this call regarding? We'll simply say, you know what, I'm actually not privy to that information. Jason just asked me to get Bob on the phone and then transfer the call. If they do, it goes through. If they push back again, we'll simply say, okay, no problem. I'll have Jason call directly. Have a great day. And we'll take that person off your list, and it'll come through as a gatekeeper block at the end of the session. And so that's how we're going to get through to a lot of the administrative assistants and get you to the right people. Any questions so far on that part of it?
Now, clearly, you guys have. Are you guys working with folks out of? Is it you guys doing Filipinos or Indians or what's your core group?
Yes. Yes to all of it. Right?
Okay.
So our agents are there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents all over the world.
Yeah.
You might get grandma in Florida. You might get a guy in India. You might get somebody in the Philippines.
Got it.
You might get somebody, in California. So,
well, because it's short and succinct, if there's an accent issue, at least there's not this long dialogue that kind of turns people out that way. I think the short and succinct probably keeps your conversion ratio somewhat close, whether it's grandma in Florida or it's Panesh in Bangladesh or something.
Yeah, and they actually get the guys who are in India actually get English coaching. So we don't really run into a ton of problems.
Yeah, got it. Go ahead.
With that
Yep,
at all.
sure.
Especially if you're calling the U.S. You start calling like the Eastern Bloc where they don't really speak English, it's a different ballgame. But for what you guys are doing, you really shouldn't have an issue. So that's the fundamentals of how the platform works. So in order to use it, really, really simple. You log in, you load a list, and I'll help you load the list at a different time, and don't worry about it. You check the box on the list you want to load, you hit load list. You got some options, right? The first one is, how do you want that caller ID to be, right? Do you want to project your phone number, or do you want to hide behind our rotating bank of about 200 caller IDs?
Correct.
And yeah, most of the time you want to hide, because the idea here is we're going to call them far more often than they ever believe that you're actually going to call them, right? That's the point of Connect and Sell, right? So you would leave it there. If you wanted to put in your own phone number, you can do that. You would put it in over here. So yeah, pretty much never a good idea. So other features you're going to get, right? Dialing order. You're always going to leave it on system optimized. We would rather call somebody for the third time than somebody for the 15th time, right? Guy who's only been called twice is have a higher chance of getting connected. Time zone filter, really straightforward. If it's really late Pacific time, you probably don't want to call East Coast, so you just uncheck them. They come out of your list automatically. Very simple. And then
If it's really if it's really early PST, you pull that off until noon Eastern.
vice versa. So if it's early Eastern, you want to pull off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if it's early it's early Eastern, you pull out the PST until 12 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Got it.
Actually, for the guys you're calling, because you're calling all higher level people.
8.
You probably want to. If I were you, I'd follow the time zones across the country in the morning, first thing in the morning, and right at like 5 o'clock. Because the reality is, when an executive hears the phone ring, they answer. It's what they do, right? Because 9 hours a day, they have someone blocking their calls for them. So
you want to catch the PST guys at 8 in the morning?
You want to catch anybody in their own time zone when their admin isn't at work.
Right. But I'm asking though, like if I start calling at 10 a.m. Eastern, right? That's
7.
That's 7. That's too early.
A little early.
Right. So let's just say at 11 Eastern versus 12 Eastern, we could turn PST on.
Yeah. So if I'm you and I'm looking for the most number of conversations in the shortest amount of time, I'm calling Eastern between 8 and 9 Eastern.
Yep.
I'm calling Central between 9 and 10 Eastern, which is again 8 to 9 Central. I'm going 8 to 9 all the way across the time zones.
Yeah, got it.
That's how I would do it. So easy enough, right? We have some other filters down here that don't really make a difference, right? Max attempts per contact per day is set to 3. This really depends on the size of your list. If you have a list of 20 people, this makes a big difference. It means that at 3 attempts each, at most we'll make is 60 calls. But if your list is 500, you're never going to get on the system and use it for 1,500 dials. You're not an inside BDR. So most of these features really won't matter because of the size of your list that you're going to start with. Not really that big of a deal. My understanding of how you guys are going to work this is, an hour here, hour there kind of a deal. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. What's your usage pattern going to look like?
Well, we want to really try to. For me, I need to book roughly 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like 10 guests a week. For what I understand, what's his name? The writer, Blumenthal. Yeah. What I understand he did was he was able to book roughly 3 to 4 interviews an hour. So you're talking about a couple hours a day. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I know his conversion number was around 40. I want to say it was 40%. I don't know it for sure.
Yeah, well, I think he said he was talking to it's like 2 to 3. He was talking to like 6. He said about 6 people an hour.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Right, and out of that, if you get 50%, that's 3 an hour, right? So we're talking about maybe 3 hours a day or so, 3-4 hours a day.
So you want to book 10? You're looking to book 10. So at 6, so 3 hours a day. How many days?
Well, actually, that's a good point. We're only looking to book 10 a week to start off with.
Right.
So you're right.
So I would guess that's, let's take a lower conversion number at the start and say, let's say you convert 25%, right? So you would need 40 conversations a week to get that done. So you just do 40 divided by 6 and say it's 6.6 hours. So call it 6 to 7 hours a week, or 90 minutes a day should net you what you're looking for if you get 6 an hour and if you convert at 25%.
Right.
Around 90 minutes a day. So
yeah.
That's a fair amount. So 90 minutes a day is going to be, somewhere between 2 and 300 dials a day.
Okay.
Right. So again, it still depends on the size of your list, but that's where you're going to be at. So if you had a 100-person list and you were going to dial it for 90 minutes and you can make 300 dials and you had this set to 3, everything would max out. So your list need to be of a certain scale that's going to allow you to make those calls at that scale. 90 minutes is not it's not an absurd amount of connect and sell by any stretch. But 300 dials a day is a lot. Hey, that's 1,500 dials a week. That's a good little clip. So to get you what you want, and as you get more comfortable with the system and refine your list, I think your 25% number will go up, given what Noah's doing. So, but anyway, so you can cap the number of dials in a day, and you can also cap the minimum delay between redials. Right. So again, if you had a list of say 20 people, we'd call all 20 people in like 5 minutes. If this was set to 15 minutes, we'd have 10 minutes with nothing to do. Right. So on a very small list, this matters a great deal. If your list is 300-400, you're going to call everybody once in a day anyways. You'll never get there. So it's really the size of list dependent for you. That's really what's important. So as you're building these lists, I think it's going to be, you need 300-400 to start. And you're going to have to be backfilling by quite a bit as you go. So anyways, so you load your list, you get to the setting. Really the only thing you have to worry about here is time zones, making sure you're being smart about when you're calling. Hit submit, bring it in, really simple, and you're ready to go. Let me grab, this is a hotel demo list, so give me 1 second. I'm just going to dial into the system. We'll make an actual live call.
Okay.
Agent logged in.
Okay, so you dial this number, you follow the directions. It'll ask you to press 1, you press 1, it wants your agent number and your password, and it's all up there. And then when you hear that beep, we're finally synced up and we're ready to go. So the big question we have for you is when you get connected, what do you want to do? You can either hear a beep, and that lets you know it's your turn to talk. I think that's how Noah uses it. Or you can actually pre-record an opening greeting, which I doubt you're going to need to do. So what I'm going to do is show you how this works with the beep.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to hit play. And hi, do you allow dogs in your hotel? Right, that's my greeting for calling hotels. But I'm going to stick with the beep for this, and I'm just going to hit go. And we'll make a couple of calls, and we will hop on and talk to a hotel here in just a second. So what you're going to see is going to start to spin up. So we're looking for a beep that's kind of what it sounds like. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I was just looking to see if you allow dogs in your hotel at all.
We do not only service.
Only service animals. Okay. Yeah, that's what I need to know.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
And that's it. Did you hear the beep?
Yep. Now you spoke a little bit fast. You were ahead of her. That's not a big problem, right? You just gotta.
Well, so what you're looking at is an alternate universe of Connect and Sell, because when we're calling hotels, sometimes they answer, hi, Courtyard Marriott, how can I help you? Sometimes they have this big giant diatribe speech. How can I provide excellent service, blah, blah, blah. So when I do this demo, it's not actually Natasha Reed. It really is the Courtyard by Marriott, but we don't know the name. So when we call using regular Connect and Sell, Natasha, if that was a real person, would say, hi, this is Natasha. The call would go over and it would go off without a hitch. In this case, we have a protocol that's called transfer on hello. So as soon as they start talking at the Marriott, our agents transfer the call. So it's just about the real life experience, and sometimes it goes a little.
No worries, no worries. And so now what you have here is an opportunity to disposition it.
Correct. Yep. So we talked to her for 14 seconds. We've been wrapping up for about a minute meeting. These are your time to take notes on the call. So you put any notes in here. Notes. Okay, you change the status. This is what's going to take them off the list. We'll talk more about the statuses when we do your first session. And then you have these dispositions. So these are customizable, so you can change. And I would recommend that you implode these and start over, because what you're doing, that business model is so very different than what other people are doing. So I'm just going to say, hey, meeting.
I'm wondering. I'm scared on how different our stuff is over other people's now. You keep saying that, like maybe we're going on the wrong business model path. Just kidding.
Well, no, I mean, what you're calling for isn't a 10 call close.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to be interviewed or not? I mean, I would assume, and maybe it's just a bad assumption on my part, that this isn't a tough sell. Either people are kind of interested in doing it, or they're like, hesitant and it's a no. What Connect and Sell is good at is getting people on the phone, right? That's what we do for a living. If you're a normal salesperson at a company, you see this and you go, oh, you're a prospecting tool. And we're not. That's not what it's about. It's about getting Natasha on the phone for the third time over a span of 2 or 3 months, having enough information on when we've talked to her now for the third time that she accepts our meeting. We discovered Natasha was exactly the right person at exactly the right company. Now's the right time.
Yeah.
And as a regular sales guy, that's how you use Connect and Sell. So for your world, I think it's more of a one-call close,
Yeah.
sort of a thing, right? So that's why it's a little bit different. It's great for what you guys are going to use it for. Don't get me wrong. Everybody uses it a bit differently, but
Got it.
you're not selling IT tech services here, right? I mean, this is just the difference.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
one. You guys need to get people on the phone, and you guys can do the rest. That in and of itself is a terrific use case for Connect and Sell. So you take your notes, you change the status. This is what takes Natasha off your calling list for next time. Again, we'll worry about that when we actually go to use it. And then you select a disposition, right? The other reason I tell you to customize these is I tell everybody to customize these. These are a very weak, generic look at what dispositions sort of should be, but every company I work with should customize them to what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of data out of this.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
I just gotta tell you what we want our dispositions to be.
I'll show you actually where you go in and manually update.
All right, great,
Yeah,
great. All right, cool.
Really, really simple. So you take your notes, you do a status, you do a disposition, you're done.
Yep.
Okay? You hit next call, saves the notes.
Does that have an option to send out a quick email or like that, or should we do that in our own CRMs?
If you're connected to Salesforce, yes.
Well, we're connected to Zoho, and I thought I saw you guys had. Oh, okay. All right.
Hi, looking to see. You know what? I think I have the wrong number. Sorry. Thank you. So I had hit go, so we were dialing. Sorry, I apologize. We do connect to Zoho, but there are features that Zoho doesn't allow. That's one of them.
That's okay. That's all right. Okay.
And that's it.
That's it, brother.
It's like an Uber. Yeah, you hit the go button. 3 to 4.5 minutes later, you talk to somebody.
Yeah, 3 to 4 minutes, they pick you up in your car and go, man. I love it. And so then the only thing we need to do is set a time for start date. I usually give you enough advance notice on that, and that kind of thing, or what?
Yeah, just give me like 2-3 days just to make sure.
Yeah, and I also want to make sure, the data is being provided by you guys. So, I think you mentioned that what's his name had pulled it, or Chris had.
Yeah, you were working with Rahul, I think, when we.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think he's pulled the data, at least to start with.
Yeah. All right. So let me just take a look and see if I, because I've been out for 2 weeks. Let me see if I can see where we're at with that data pull.
Yeah.
Should have been done. I don't see it being done, so let me get it out to him.
Okay. I mean, like I said, we got a little bit of a timeline too, as you know. So don't you don't have to put us in a priority or like that, But I would say 2 to 3 weeks. I'm planning on starting this. Maybe a little shorter than that, but.
Okay, no worries. And wait, can you, do you have the last email from Rahul that you could forward me? I don't think I'm on the email string. I think that's the issue.
Hang on 1 second here. Let me do this. I'm going to pause this for a second here.